What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. A TLC is just days away and fans are already lining up at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota to catch the show. Okay, that's definitely not true, but we've heard some interesting stories about this Sunday's show. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the news and rumors surrounding TLC 2019, as well as our predictions. Number 1. Why there isn't a Fiend Daniel Bryan rematch. Our fans are curious why Daniel Bryan isn't fighting the Fiend, particularly after the Fiend dragged Bryan under the ring 2 weeks ago on Friday Night SmackDown. During a recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer speculated that Daniel Bryan may have a limited amount of creative control and that last Friday's SmackDown was changed, as the opening segment was supposed to be Miz TV with Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan has now disappeared, and you know the idea is when he got all his hair pulled off, you know, it's supposed to be a mystery now on what happens. So he's out of the pay-per-view. Originally it was going to be Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan himself was actually pushing to delay it. You know he didn't want it to, as he thought this pay-per-view would be too soon. And I guess he is pretty hands-on with this story, which if I was him, I would be too, because I wouldn't want these people messing with my stories. But number 2, look for Daniel Bryan to return at TLC. While Daniel Bryan won't be wrestling the Fiend, he's expected to return at the show, preferably with a new look. The million-dollar question, and no, Wrestlelamia isn't offering $1 million for the correct answer, is whether Bryan will be aligned with the Fiend or out for revenge. Whatever the case, there are a number of strong storyline possibilities as Bryan adopts a new attitude in the ring. Some have suggested this return could lead to a Miz vs Bryan program as well, something possible considering the two repeatedly stating they don't like each other. Number 3. A new Daniel Bryan. The WWE has been laying the groundwork for Daniel Bryan to transform into a new character. After the botched storyline concerning who tried to kill Roman Reigns, it looked like Bryan might be turning face. While Daniel Bryan teamed up with Roman Reigns to battle the Bludgeon Brothers, Bryan has been portrayed as someone facing an identity crisis. He's not heel, but he's not babyface either. The WWE threw the Fiend into the mix, seemingly leading to a revival of the Yes movement, but following Bryan's apparent abduction, the WWE could have Bryan be the latest victim of the Fiend. Recall Finn Balor and Seth Rollins became heels after wrestling the Fiend, and Wyatt's malignant mirror image may have corrupted Bryan as well. Number 4. John Morrison to the rescue. While it seems likely the Miz will do the JOB to Bray Wyatt, there's also the potential for Daniel Bryan interfering on Wyatt's behalf or against him, leading to a win by the Miz. If Bryan does help the Fiend, we could see the Miz's former tag team partner John Morrison show up to save the Miz from a beatdown. The Miz hasn't been doing much other than counting the lights for opponents, so shifting him into a team with Morrison could be a way to restore some momentum and feed off the nostalgia from the Miz and Morrison's history together. Number 5. The TLC curse strikes again. The TLC has always been plagued by a number of wrestlers missing the show. Just look at TLC 2017 when a number of wrestlers substituted for others. While fans never know what to expect from Braun Strowman due to the WWE's inability to book him consistently, there have been rumors of Strowman challenging Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship at TLC. Dave Meltzer recently discussed this, noting Nakamura and Strowman, they were supposed to do an angle on Friday Night SmackDown, but they couldn't because Strowman got hurt and he couldn't do the angle. According to a recent story at the International Business Times, it is believed that Strowman is suffering from a sore hip, WWE reported, but it is understood that in reality, the former Mr. Money in the Bank winner is experiencing back spasms. Drew McIntyre recently filled in for Strowman at a live event against The Fiend, which could suggest they may be resting Braun for the pay-per-view, but that seems unlikely. It seems that for the second time in a row, Braun Strowman will be missing the TLC pay-per-view due to injury. Number 6. Seth Rollins is cleared to compete. Now, in yesterday's news, we reported that Seth Rollins vs Cedric Alexander that was supposed to happen on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw didn't happen due to an injury, as Rollins broke his pinky finger during an Augusta, Georgia house show while wrestling Eric Rowan in a street fight. But Figure 4 Wrestling Online reports that WWE has now cleared Seth Rollins for in-ring competition. His little finger is still broken, but he's still able to compete. There have been rumors that a Seth Rollins vs Kevin Owens match is on the cards, but WWE has yet to confirm this, and it's unsure whether they'll wait until the Royal Rumble or do the match this Sunday with a late announcement. If WWE's smart, they'll have this feud culminate at the Rumble. Having a match at TLC would just be a waste. At number 7, Andrade and Zelina Vega splitting up. Andrade has done well with Zelina Vega guiding him, as well as occasionally interfering in his matches, but judging from their disagreement during the 9th December Raw where Vega accidentally cost him his match against Humberto Carrillo, the two could soon be going their separate ways. Whilst Andrade has no match scheduled for this Sunday, TLC could be the pay-per-view in which they further this angle. It's possible they could do this with a backstage segment, or possibly with a late announced match where Andrade wrestles on the pre-show. But those were some rumours. Let's look at the predictions, as the WWE hasn't announced the entire card and it's hard to picture just 7 matches taking place on the show. For now though, this is all that has been announced. But let's look at the winners and losers. The first match is a tables, ladders and chairs match between Roman Reigns and King Corbin. Now few WWE superstars brawl as well as the big dog, and Baron Corbin is well known for being one of the lightest workers in the business, which hopefully should make for some great spots without any injuries. The WWE appears committed to making this a major feud at least through the Royal Rumble, so look for some more outside interference. Well, not from Robert Roode though, as he's been suspended thanks to a wellness policy violation, but possibly from Dolph Ziggler or Corbin's Royal Porters. Considering the WWE's, i.e. Vince McMahon's newfound fascination for Fido, be on the lookout for a run-in by that costumed canine from a few weeks back, or King Corbin crowning Roman with a can of dog food. WWE is gonna shock us with this one, and we see King Corbin coming out with the win, with Roman Reigns getting his revenge possibly back at the Rumble. It's gonna be a win, but not a clean win for King Corbin. A SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between champions The New Day versus The Revival. These two teams have an excellent chemistry and plenty of experience working against each other, which means that this should be a solid matchup. It's surprising that the WWE didn't make this a ladder match or even TLC match, but the company may not want to risk any injuries for additional New Day members since Xavier Woods is still out of commission. While anything is possible in the WWE, a title change seems unlikely with the Revival reportedly still on their way out of the WWE once their contract expires. The WWE has done everything possible to persuade Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson to stay, and another tag team title reign seems counterproductive. So we see the New Day retaining. Next up, Bray Wyatt vs The Miz. This match is a non-title match and is the first time Bray Wyatt has wrestled since the debut of his diabolical double, The Fiend. There's talk the WWE doesn't want to overexpose The Fiend, except at the merchandise stands, hence Wyatt's appearance here rather than The Fiend. There's also the idea that The Miz vs Bray Wyatt makes it seem possible for The Miz to score a win. Here, we won't be surprised to see The Miz defeat Wyatt, but for The Fiend to show up after the match, once again showing the WWE's incredible ability to pull off amazing special effects in the ring. Daniel Bryan's involvement seems likely as well, but this is one where there are so many variables involved that we'll have to just wait and see what happens. You may call us crazy, but our prediction is on The Miz. Next up, Aleister Black vs Buddy Murphy. Although the WWE has given Murphy some wins recently on Raw, there's zero chance he's gonna go over Black. The only question here is whether the WWE makes this a squash match or gives Murphy some offense. There's no reason to expect this to be a long-term program other than a possible rematch on Raw. The next question is who Black will face, with Eric Rowan seemingly being a good candidate. But we see Aleister Black coming out with the win. Next up, a TLC match for the Women's Tag Team Championship as the champions the Kabuki Warriors take on Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. This one should be amazing as it's the first TLC match for the Women's Tag Team belts and all 4 competitors are some of the best workers in the industry today. The build-up for this has been utter garbage, but the match should steal the show. Look for Becky and Charlotte to win the belts, but for the WWE to leave fans guessing how long the two rivals can coexist as champions. The ongoing rumour was that the WWE wanted to use this feud to build up a match between Asuka and Becky Lynch, but it's difficult to say how that could happen while the talented quartet are battling for tag team gold. Nevertheless, new champions will be crowned this Sunday. And lastly, a tables match between Rusev and Bobby Lashley. It's difficult to believe that the Rusev-Lana Lashley angle has been going on this long without Lashley or Rusev fighting in a match, but Then again, Vince McMahon is said to love the non-wrestling segments, which is why they've been the heart and soul of the storyline up until now. While the storyline has its fans, it hasn't kept fans on the edge of their seats waiting to see when these two burly brawlers would finally go at it. At this point, a match between the two seems almost pointless now that Rusev has his divorce. Sure, the Bulgarian brute may want to give Lashley a tune-up for wrecking his marriage, but how many more miles can the WWE get out of the storyline in actual matches? The WWE may decide to add some intrigue to this match by adding another stipulation prior to or the day of the show. The rumours are going around that this feud is going to last until at least the Royal Rumble, so look for Lashley to get the underhanded win, leaving Rusev wanting revenge. But there you have it guys, the latest news and rumours for TLC 2019, as well as our predictions for the show. Be sure to comment down below on who you think the winners will be this Sunday, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.